There was a young child named Maria who went to the hospital because she was having severe pain in her abdomen area. So her parents correctively took her to the hospital and they got her checked. The doctor that checked her didn't think there was much wrong with her, so he sent her home that night. Maria later came on two more times that same night, and the doctor finally realized on her third visit that she would need immediate surgery. Now the doctor didn't know how to communicate this to her parents because there was a language barrier. The parents didn't speak English, and the doctor didn't speak Spanish, which is why I believe foreign language should be mandatory in the education curriculum. The foreign languages are becoming more and more necessary because of our increasingly diverse nation in the United States. Now, if foreign languages are more mandatory in education, it'll provide proper medical care, it'll erase a barrier that's being created between families, education, and the future generations of this country, and it'll also provide a better outlook for global affairs. So, foreign languages are becoming more necessary because of our increasing health services that are being provided for our increasingly diverse community. And since this community is from somewhere else, sometimes they don't understand English as well, just enough to get them around town and whatnot, but they need to know more English in order for them to know what they're getting in medical care. But the medical field should also be more associated with Spanish so that they can communicate with them as well. And Dr. Kim Gaiwin of the Journal of American Geriatrics Society did a study on this, and she did a phone interview where she interviewed Latino immigrants and she interviewed Asian immigrants. And of the 100% of Latino immigrants that she interviewed, 66.8% decided to do their interview in their native tongue, as well as the Asian immigrants who did the phone interview, 58.2% decided to do their interview in their native tongue. So and the funny thing about it is that the people who decided to do their interview in their native tongue was a lot of the older generations, which brings me to my second point. Language barriers are being created more and more every day between families, education, and future generations. Like, what's going to happen when the older generations go away? Like, the future generations aren't going to be able to experience their culture or anything because their language will be disappeared already. And with education, if you have a family who's migrated here from somewhere else, the child is going to know Spanish, the child's going to know English and then their native tongue, and then their parents are just going to know their native tongue. If they need help with schoolwork or anything like that, they won't be able to communicate with each other because A, the parents don't know English, and B, the child can't translate fluently because they're in America, so they speak more English than their native tongue. And Allison Kears did a study and shows that 95% of the nation's people speak English, but that doesn't mean that everybody here speaks English, because there is a number of people that have limited English proficiency, so they can speak some, but not very well as others. Which brings me to my third point about global affairs. The world globally knows English as kind of like an international exchange language. You can practically travel to any part of the world or country, and there will be English spoken there. So technically you don't have to know a foreign language, but it is better to know one so that you just don't seem as ignorant, and you'll be able to experience the culture there more traditionally. And the Chicago Council, they are a nonpartisan organization who influence global issues, did a study in China, Indonesia, Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, and asked families what they think about English. Should it be mandatory in their education curriculum? And 96% to 100% said yes. So if you look at it, in the United States, we kind of are like an English-only nation, so we don't push for more of like foreign language education. But if you look at other countries, their families push more towards knowing a foreign language, which is English. So I'm not just saying that in the United States we have to learn Spanish or Hmong or French or anything like that. I'm saying it goes both ways. So people who speak English only should know a foreign language. and people who only speak a foreign language should get to know English so that everybody else can communicate better. So foreign languages will provide proper medical care. It will make barriers between families, education, and future generations disappear. And it will also provide a better outlook for global affairs. So if the young child Maria was able to communicate with her father, with her parents better, or with the doctor better, everything would be better. And then if the parents knew English and the doctor knew Spanish, one way or the other, they would all be able to communicate because foreign languages are becoming more and more necessary.